What's going on, you guys? I'm Tanner.
I'm Alexis.
And you're watching another Tech Tip Tuesday.
Woohoo!
In today's video, we're going to be talking about rider sag. Now, I am definitely guilty about never doing this to any of my bikes. So I'll start out by saying that this is my first time doing this, and it's something that I regret not doing in the past. I will say my excuse is that we've been through so many different bikes that I just didn't ever take the time to do so. But even that's a pretty big excuse because this doesn't take a long time to do, and it can make a world of difference as far as how your bike handles.
But this may be a clue as to him actually keeping something.
Exactly. I'm actually reading the owner's manual. I'm actually caring about the bike. So it's a good sign for the Husky. So in the last Tech Tip Tuesday, you saw us shave down the KTM seat.
Banana seat.
We got the old banana boat over here. Now the reason that we did that was so we could get her closer to the ground so that she could touch easier. And there are some more things that you can do. The biggest thing being setting the sag. So she only weighs like 110 pounds, probably 120, 125 with gear, maybe. If she's lucky. So she is way below the recommended rider weight. These bikes are sprung for riders that are around 165 pounds to 180.
It's straight from the manual.
Yes, it is. And I think it's actually 185. So I am barely in that range. I'm actually probably sitting at 185 pounds right now.
So we're like kind of two opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, so I kind of still fall into the range. Like, I think I can adjust mine enough to where it'll still be in spec. For her, she really does need softer springs, and that's why we're going to send it out and have it professionally done. Now there's three different types of sag that you're going to hear us talking about: free sag, static sag, and rider or race sag. I'm going to refer to it as rider sag because we don't race. So the free sag is going to be your bike on a stand, completely unweighted. The static sag is going to be the bike on the ground, unweighted. And the rider sag is obviously going to be you fully geared up, sitting on your bike, and it helps to have somebody to balance you, or you can just kind of lean up against something, but make sure to have all your gear on. That little bit of weight will make a difference. So every bike has its own set of recommended specs. As far as the rider sag, for these bikes, it's around 110 millimeters. Now it can be a bit confusing, and I'm definitely no expert in this. Like I said, it's my first time, so I will link a video to Rocky Mountain. Chase does a really good video on how to set the sag, and that's actually what I'm going to be referring to. So I'm also curious to see what these bikes are as is. I don't know if they've been messed with. We bought them used. Both of the bikes had one previous owner, and I know one of them mentioned doing something. I can't remember which one it was. I think the KTM, he said he had it adjusted to his weight, and he was a little bit of a bigger guy like me, so I'd imagine it might be a little bit out of spec, but let's go ahead and see what I've got on the Husky. So you are going to need some kind of stand for this. I love this folding stand from Polysport. If you don't have one, just use a 5-gallon bucket or whatever else you can find, log, stump. All right, both wheels are off the ground. The spring is unsprung. And a pretty cool feature about these bikes is they actually have a little mark here on the back fender, and that's what you're going to measure off of. But if your bike does not have this, just go ahead and make a mark that you can reference off of. Now, as I said earlier, this goes by millimeters, so you can multiply an inch by 25.4 to get your number in millimeters, or you can just buy the tool. I don't think it costs a whole lot, and it would make this job way easier, so I'll go ahead and link that down below. But we are on the road and don't have access to shipping right now, so we're gonna do it the old-fashioned method. So you want to measure off the center of your axle. So it's kind of difficult with this bike because you can't like put it inside the axle like a lot of the Japanese bikes. So just try to be consistent here. And we are at 24 and 5/8. 24.625. And then I would multiply that by 25.4 to get my measurement in millimeters. I'm going to go ahead and jot that down in my notes here. That is our free sag measurement for the Husky. Let's go ahead and throw the bike on the ground. Go ahead and compress your shock a little bit. Make sure it rests in the proper position, isn't getting stuck. I'm gonna go ahead and have Alexis hold the bike up, and we will take that second measurement. 23 exactly, that makes it easy. Do 23 times 25.4, we got 584.2. So we'll take 625.475, you can go ahead and round that, I don't feel like doing it. Subtract that by your static sag. Mine was 584.2, So I ended up getting 41.275 and the spec is 37 millimeters for this bike. So we're a little bit off. So the number that I got being a little bit higher than the factory spec recommendation, it leads me to think that mine has been adjusted. The guy tried to soften it up a little bit because we have 3 millimeters off. Maybe it's just a coincidence, or maybe the guy actually did mess with it. For my case though, I'm definitely gonna have to tighten it up. So that's what we're gonna do next, is adjust the rider sag. So in order to do that, you're just gonna need a set of Allen wrenches for these bikes. And being new, I don't think anything's gonna be seized up. So we will just get in here and we will loosen that Allen up, and we should be able to turn the shock by hand. Now, as you can see here on this little collar here, you have a mark. So that's what you can go off of as far as making an entire rotation. You can also just put a Sharpie mark anywhere on the shock, just so you know, and just kind of have a reference point when you're adjusting. All right, so I did about a turn and a half. I'm gonna go ahead and check my rider sag and see where we're at. And I'm actually gonna be kind of lazy, so you can go ahead and hate on me down in the comments. I'm not gonna fully gear up. I'll just adjust it a little bit on the tighter end. That way when I do have gear, it'll adjust for that. But I'm gonna go ahead and sit on the bike, lean up against the truck, make sure the bike is completely unsupported by anything. I'll have Alexis grab a measurement, and then we will see what the rider sag is. How much hate do you think I'll get in the comments for not putting my gear on?
What's new?
I told you we're not, exactly. I told you we're not professionals.
20 and a half exactly.
20 and a half exactly. Whew. So 20.5 times 25.4, we got 520.7, and we will subtract 625.475 minus 520.7. We got 104.775.
So we went as close to 110 is what the
Exactly.
manual says.
I definitely noticed a difference even just on what I did.
I mean, that's pretty close. I'm curious what it was before you did churn and see if you would have sat on it.
Yeah, I know. I wish I would have checked. So after I thought about it for a bit, I think I'm gonna leave it at that 105 millimeter mark. Reason being, like I said, I don't have gear on right now, so that extra weight is going to add to that. So if I were to tighten the shock anymore, that number would actually go down. So like I said, we wanna get as close to that 110 as we can get. So I'm gonna go ahead and settle at that 105. But we are not done yet. I am also going to adjust my clickers really quick. These bikes come in the standard configuration, and you can adjust them a little bit stiffer, which is what I'm gonna do. So we're gonna stiffen up the compression and rebound for both the forks and the shock. So I actually have my manual downloaded in PDF form, which is super handy. I highly recommend doing that. Adventure Daily website is also in the works, which I'm going to be listing a bunch of owner's manuals that you guys can just download straight off the website. Makes it super easy. Got to watch copyright with that. But Husky and KTM, they offer them straight off of the website, so good on them.
A lot of owner manuals are free. The service manuals you can't find. You have to buy those.
Correct, yeah. So we're going to go ahead and start with the forks. So there's two adjustments on the forks here. The white adjuster is for the compression and the red is for the dampening. So in order to adjust these, you need to turn them all the way clockwise and then back them off by click to the desired amount. So there's actually a total of 4 adjustments you can make by hand up here on the forks. So this white dial on the left controls your compression damping, and these bikes should come in the standard setting, which is 15 clicks out from clockwise. So we're gonna turn these in all the way clockwise. 1, 2, 15. So yeah, it was set to standard. I'm gonna go ahead and do sport, which is 12 clicks out, and it's gonna be a little bit stiffer, which is what I want for jumps and whatnot. So it's funny, you can actually hear the spring moving there. 11, 12. So we're going to try that for a while. While we're over here, you'll see a few different measurements here. You got a +6, a +3, and a +0. That's actually going to adjust the preload of the spring. And comfort's going to be at 0, standard at the +3, sport at the 6. So I'm going to go ahead and bump these up to +6 as well and see how it feels. If I don't like it, I'll dial it back. This right fork is actually going to control the rebound damping. So once again, 12 clicks out from clockwise will be the sport setting. So I'm assuming this will be at 15 as well. 1, 12, 13. Okay, so it was actually set to sport, which is interesting. Why it was different. So we're going to go 12 clicks back out, 11, 12. And we'll go ahead and set this one to +6 as well on the preload. I can tell right away that it has a way more responsive rebound. So we're gonna find some jumps, and hopefully I like this better. If not, I like that it's toolless and you can just play around with it. But we're gonna do the rear shock really quick and then move over to Alexa's bike. So we're gonna adjust the shock now, and this screw right here controls the low speed compression damping. We're gonna go ahead and turn this all the way in. 13 clicks out is sport, so that's what we're gonna do. 1, 2, 3, 13. So the 17mm nut adjuster here controls the high speed compression damping. Gotta love these ratcheting wrenches. So 1.5 turns out is sport. Right there where it says hard, that will be my rotation marker. So that right there is 1. I'll do it just a little bit more. Boom, that's about 1.5. So we've got one more adjuster on the bottom, and that controls your rebound. 13 clicks out for sport, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. 1, 13. In a perfect world, this thing should be dialed for my needs. Minus the kickstand. Oh, it definitely feels way more springy, I can notice that.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it feels good.
So if you feel like if you would have done that before, it would have been like easier to do, or like it would have gone down further?
What do you mean?
Like if you would have done that before all these measurements, like would the bike have like gone down even more? Like does it?
No, that doesn't affect any of that
Okay.
as far as the sag goes.
Okay.
So you can adjust those separate from the sag. Good question though. You ready to move on to your bike?
Yeah. Let's do it.
So now we're gonna go ahead and check the static sag of the old pumpkin. So what are we at, boss? And do you have that same line?
I do.
So she got 23 7/8. We're gonna multiply that by 25.4. And so we got 606.425. Now we'll go ahead and throw it on the stand and get the free sag measurement. That way we can get our static sag number. Piece of shit, KTM. Clap. The free sag number is
25.25.
So we got 641.35. We're going to subtract that by the 606.425, and we have a static sag of 34.925. Might as well round up 35. So that's pretty close to the 37mm spec. Now I'm really curious what this is going to be, so we'll have Lex hop on the bike. I'll take her measurement, and we will see what we get. Make sure the shock isn't bound up on anything. I am curious to see. So we'll take 21.75 times 25.4, get our number in millimeters, 552.45, 88.9.
Cow.
We're gonna loosen your ass up.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna be easier to adjust hers because we're loosening it. It was hard for me to do it by hand because it got so tight that I had to get the screwdriver in there. So this should be pretty easy. Loosen that up. Counterclockwise, probably 3 full turns. I don't know. It's harder for me to get my hand on this one. All right, let's go ahead and see where that is. Does it feel better already?
Very similar to the XCW at home.
Oh, that's good to hear. All right, so it looks pretty squatted. Let's get a measurement. Oh, we got 104, baby.
Nice.
104.775.
Leave it at that because with gear.
That's what I'm saying. Both of ours are in the same exact spec.
Yeah.
First try, just by hand. What are the chances of that?
That's pretty cool.
I'm happy with that. Since we did it without gear, that's going to compensate for that extra 5mm. Now, do you want to check your clickers too?
I would.
Okay.
I'd like to. Get it all done in one foul swoop.
All right. Well, you guys, we got both of the bikes dialed. I'm pretty happy with the end result, especially since we have literally the same numbers. So we're sitting right at about 105mm. That's without gear. So once we get the gear on, I'm gonna go ahead and take another measurement too. So I'll let you guys know what that is here in a bit, but it should be right around that 110 mark.
We got the forks done. Everything else adjusted.
Mm-hmm.
Should be good.
Yeah, all the clickers are dialed, and I'm really curious to see if I will notice a difference with my bike. Just based on that little bit that I was playing around, I think I will notice a big difference.
I think you will too.
Especially if we find some jumps. So I'm happy that we spent the time to do this. I definitely recommend it. From everything that I've researched, it's one of the best things you can do as far as dialing in the performance of your bike and its suspension. Like I said, hopefully these bikes are going to stick around for a little bit. I am really enjoying my Husky, and we're actually about to take Alexis out on her first ride.
Yeah, so I'm super excited, a little nervous. I rode it just a little bit before and I absolutely loved it. So I'm sure after all these adjustments, my lowered seat, I'll feel a lot more comfortable.
We'll get her in some boots, not some flip-flops, so she'll get that little extra inch of ground clearance too.
Every inch helps.
Yeah, every inch matters, guys. Remember that. I might put some GoPro clips in the end of this video, but if not, thank you all for watching. Let me know your comments down below if we screwed anything up, if you would have done anything else, because like I said, I'm not an expert. This was my first time doing this, so any help is much appreciated.
It's nice that we can still readjust it too, you know?
Exactly.
It's not set this way forever now.
And now that we've done it, it's pretty damn easy to do. So let me know what tech tip videos you guys would like to see next.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Across this log. Well, we are out filming Alexis's first ride video right now. It's going pretty well. Only dumped it a few times, but overall, she's doing really good. She enjoys the bike, and man, let me tell you what, those suspension adjustments made the world of difference. This thing is nice and stiff now. I definitely prefer that because I like playing around, doing jumps, and definitely helps having that stiffened up. Oh, every log that I see, every log I see, I just want to hit. That'd be a good one because I could like bounce off that rock really quick. I might try it. I'll eye it up. Executed well. I can't get my fucking phone out of these tight ass fucking MGK pants. Oh God, she almost flamed out on me. Boom, baby. All right, let's hit it. Running out of daylight. This might turn into a night ride, guys. I've been practicing my double blips a lot today. I do have one very good excuse. These goddamn gloves, man. I didn't think gloves needed broke in, but these are leather and they've got like the carbon fiber knuckle caps. They're a little cumbersome, but good for the street though. And shout out to Scorpion, man. Definitely needed a more roadworthy glove. I'm guilty of always wearing motocross gloves on the street, and that will do nothing to stop tearing up your fingers on the asphalt. Yeah, we're pretty much just gonna head back the way that we came, and we're right in golden hour, so this has just been a beautiful ride. Alexis got some good practice in. This is mainly just Jeep and side-by-side trails, but I was hoping to find some single track. Maybe we'll do it in the next couple days if there is any in the area. I would assume so. And I was telling Lex earlier, it really just is kind of a bummer that you're just so limited in areas like this. Like, I wish there was just a little bit more freedom. Like, you get in big trouble for riding off trail, and I don't want any part of that. And I get the whole idea of conservation, but there's got to be a limit, man, because single track is just so minimal. It just leaves so little impact. You're essentially just riding on game trails, which is really no different. But I get the disturbing the wildlife thing, yada yada yada, but I just wish there was more single track. It is definitely the minority as far as trail riding goes. Especially in these days, it's catered strictly to side-by-sides and ATVs. But I'm really just going off of my tracks because we made a lot of turns, so hopefully we can find our way back. If not, we got the GPS, but I think I got a pretty good idea. Definitely way more confidence inspiring, and I just grabbed the front brake instead of the throttle. Did you crash? Are they looking at you? Oh, they're right behind you. Sorry. Alexis the dweeb. Made it through the hard part, crashed on the easy part. Is this the one that I jumped over? Yeah. Kind of thinking to myself, like, what could we do as far as an app that mapped out all the single track, but a lot of the locals, man, they're secretive with their spots, and I completely get it, because the more people you have riding, the worse that it gets, the more blown out that it gets, and the more chance, you know, that people are gonna do dumb shit that gets it shut down. I get it, but it just sucks that it's kind of hard to find. But that's what Facebook groups are for, and networking. You just got to know people, and it's just hard for us. We don't know anybody in Flagstaff, so we're left with like Google and I guess whoever I can just DM and figure out where to ride. Oh, I think I see some deer up here. Nope, just stumps. Now this is where I'm gonna get screwed around, but we got the power of, we go, yep, I see our tracks. Real easy with the sand. But yeah, we're gonna be fighting daylight like within the next 10 minutes. So luckily Lex has got the old LED headlight. Oh, that cold breeze just kicked in. But overall, once again, I'm a super happy owner. The FE350 just puts a smile on my face every time I ride it. I believe this is us. I see our tracks. There she goes. Somebody sponsor. Suspension company, please. Oh my God. That's definitely a... Is that an antelope? Oh, that's a big antelope. Dude, that is the most majestic antelope I've ever seen. Matter of fact, it's the only antelope I've ever seen. That an antelope or a baby elk, man? Because that thing was huge. Man, that was wild. And the sunset too, that was dope. You can see the fog rolling off that mountain over there.